Hey, Sully, how are you today?
Would that be an accurate description, the Jay Billis of South Jersey basketball? Oh, look, Jay Billis is on ESPN right now.
I can be the Jay Billis of from the analytical position, but he went to Duke, and there's only one thing worse than a Duke guy, and that's a Carolina guy. So, I'll take it as a compliment, though. But,
you're anti-Duke and Carolina?
Dude, I went to Maryland. So,
okay.
There really aren't too many schools that we dislike more than Duke and North Carolina.
True.
So, but that's okay.
So what's going on, man?
Well, we're getting ready for some more basketball today, and we've weathered the storm from last night. I'm taking a look outside, and I'm going to have a lot of work to do once the ground dries up. But other than that, we're getting set. Like I said, we're getting set for some more hoops, and it's a great time of year.
Tell you what, man, great game in the Group 2 semis. Camden versus Haddonfield, 2 p.m. today at Cherry Hill West.
Yeah, that's going to be a real interesting game. That the two teams played in last year's sectional final. It went to overtime. Camden wins at the buzzer. The last game at in Clarence Turner Gymnasium, at the time, and I think this is the game when you look at the brackets. We kind of anticipated that this matchup was going to happen, and I think it has all the qualities, and it has everything to be a championship game. Although it's just going to be a semifinal, but two teams that really this year have kind of gone after it. Haddonfield's had a really great season, has just battled injuries pretty much just about the entire year. They had guys in and out of the lineup, and here they are, 23, 24 wins later, playing for a chance to go to the final. And you look at Camden, another team, that we look at the beginning of the season and clearly figured to be the favorite in this group. They get the 3 seed because of some tough scheduling and some, a couple losses here and there. But, here they are, exactly where they want to be. So 2 o'clock at Cherry Hill West. The gym's going to be packed, I'm sure. And, that's going to be another exciting game from start to finish.
And, Kevin, you look at the other side of that bracket down at Lower Cape May, 7 p.m. tonight. The Caper Tigers as the 5 seed hosting 9 seed Barnegat, who knocked off number 1 Cinnaminson. So a pretty interesting other side of the bracket there.
Yeah, no disrespect to the teams on that side of the bracket, but, I definitely thought that the other side with Camden and Haddonfield was going to be the stronger of the two. But, here you are. You have two high seeds making it to a semifinal. So, somebody's going to go to the championship game, and that's what you play for, and you deal with what you have as far as your seed is concerned. And both of those teams have obviously taken care of business. Barnegat, going on the road, knocking off Middle, and then hitting the road again and knocking off Cinnaminson. So, two teams there that they've got to be excited about this opportunity, and excited to be playing basketball at this point in the year, given the fact that I'm going to guess that maybe a lot of people didn't think that they would be at this point. So, I'm sure that gym at Lower Cape is going to be filled tonight, and that's going to be another exciting opportunity for both teams. And, Patrick Holden will get a chance to do his magic again and add to the ranks of, his resume as one of the 2,000-point scorers in South Jersey basketball history. So, by 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight, things will be set, and one of those two teams is going to have an opportunity to play for a championship.
And Kevin, that's the one thing about high school sports. You never know. Sometimes a team like that comes in as a 9-10 seed or whatever, and nobody really thinks anything of them, and they win a game or two, and all of a sudden they start believing. The fan base starts believing. We saw that a couple years ago with Mainland baseball. They come in to the state playoffs at 10-12. They win 6 in a row, win a state championship. So that can happen sometimes. You build a little bit of momentum, and it can take you a long way. With you're still talking about 16, 17, 18-year-old kids.
Yeah, it's the time of the year where you need to put everything together, and obviously the teams at this point still play and have done that, and it's almost as if I don't want to say the regular season doesn't count, because it clearly does, but the whole point is to get to the tournament, and if you can get to the tournament, and you're playing your better ball, your best ball at that point, like you said, anything can happen. It doesn't take much to swing some momentum here and there. Even the best teams will miss a couple shots here or there, commit a foul at the wrong time, and if you can hang in a game and you can capitalize on your opportunities, there's no guarantee that says that the one seed is going to win or the one seed has to win. So, you play the game. We look at it on paper and we kind of judge it that way because obviously we don't play the game, but we look at it. We try to look at how teams got to certain points, who the movers are, who the shakers are, and come about with some kind of analysis. But ultimately, you can kind of throw that all out the window when the ball goes up, and 32 minutes later we see which team had it that day. And I think a clear example of that was yesterday with Delsey knocking off Timber Creek. In Group 3, Timber Creek came in as the top seed. Delsey is the 4, but myself and a lot of other people, probably didn't think Delsey could hang with Timber Creek, let alone be in a game from the start, I guess. And Delsey really did an outstanding job yesterday and played one of the most complete games I've seen all season. It very well may have been the most complete game I've seen all season from a team to win rather convincingly down the stretch, 80-70. So it's tournament time, and like we said, anything can happen, and that's why I call it we don't have the copyright for March Madness around here, I guess, but it clearly is. There is some madness going on for the second and third day of March.
Talk with Kevin Minnick of NJ Advanced Media, and Kevin, you know how bad I am at predictions, but my upset special came true at least for one round. The Highland Tartans made it through the first round before really getting handled by Seneca. So it's going to be Seneca and Delsey in that South Jersey Group 3 final. Ocean City made a run to the semis, and great job by Coach Bruno. Finally gets his first 20-win season, and they gave Seneca a pretty good run in the semis before losing 59-52. So I don't know if anybody saw that coming in that final, Delsey versus Seneca.
No, I think from the beginning, I thought that Triton might have had a really good chance to knock off Seneca in that first round, and they played him very, very well and very tightly. But I saw Seneca play that second round game against Highland, and they owned that game from start to finish. It wasn't even close. It was a glorified practice at points in the game, and like I said, with Delsey and Timber Creek on that other side of the bracket, I think. Even though Delsey's had a sensational season, has won now 11 in a row, and I believe 17 of 18, I think it's still everybody pointed at Timber Creek as the team to beat, and Delsey goes into their house and takes care of business. So here we have a championship game on Tuesday. Delsey at Seneca. I think it's going to be an exciting game, like every final is, and it's similar. Two teams that are somewhat similar in that they're unselfish kids who don't care who scores, and it's evident in box scores. It's evident in the way they play when you watch them. The ball movement is there. They're looking for clear, clean looks, and they usually get them. They both play very good defense, so they kind of mirror each other in that way, and I expect to see that to be a game that's going to come down to the final minute of play. I think that game. I would be very surprised if that game was decided by any more than 4 to 6 points. And ultimately coming down into the final minute. Because those two teams they are so good, and they very much are. I think are mirror images of each other.
Now, Kevin, turning to South Jersey Group 4, the top 4 seeds advance to the semis, and should be some really good games. Eastern at number 1, Shawnee, today at 1 p.m., and then you got the 8 p.m. game, Atlantic City traveling up the Parkway to Toms River North. How do you see these games shaking out? I wouldn't be surprised to see Atlantic City and Eastern in that final game.
Well, this is kind of, here's a bracket where the 4 top seeds all hold. And it's playing out the way the seedings had it. And you look at AC and Toms River North, like AC had its had some issues during the course of the season, and then had some ups and downs. But seems to have its act together right now and playing pretty well. And Toms River North, like I said, I don't really know much about North other than the fact that they made it to the championship game last year, and making it to that final last year and losing in triple overtime to Shawnee, obviously stuck in their head this year, and a little bit of extra motivation to get back. And AC's a team that's tonight was going to have to limit its mistakes. It has to play 32 minutes of basketball. It cannot afford to play only 28 or 29. They've got to play a full game, and they've got to put the foot on the pedal the entire time, because if you don't, you're going to get back on the Parkway down to Atlantic City with your head hanging low. You look at the other side with Shawnee and Eastern. Shawnee beat Eastern rather handily back early in the season. I believe that, Eastern lost to Shawnee on the 2nd of January by 21 points. Now, Eastern is clearly a much better basketball team now than they were then. They've got Matt Cotton in the lineup. They got their bigs back healthy in Anye Okoro and Ryan Ems. The guard play of Troy Edwards and Jesse Barbera has been there all season. And you look at Shawnee, a team that really hasn't had many lulls, in its run this year, getting back to the point in which it is. That's a team that can get on a run and can score points in a hurry. And then, having Dean Knoll at the point, I think Dean Knoll is one of the best point guards in South Jersey, if not in the, and in the state for that matter. When he dictates what's going on, a lot of good things happen for them. So, it's a full arsenal for Eastern this time. So I think maybe that 20-some point win Shawnee had, you can throw that out the window at this point. I think this is two teams that have clearly gotten better during the course of the year, and two teams that match up well and will be at their fullest. So I wouldn't be surprised if Eastern went in there and won. But then again, Shawnee playing at home, the comforts of home, they'll have their student section, loud and roaring. And, if the Devaney brothers, Dylan and Connor, kind of get going from the outside, that's going to open up things for other guys. And, we'll see what happens. Another game that I don't think is decided by more than 4 or 6 points. I think it's going to be a battle right down to the end. I think it's going to be a physical game. And hopefully it's not a game decided by a whistle here or there because of the physical play. So I think, if I had to pick a team right now, I'd lean towards Shawnee. They were there last year. Everybody that's playing was there last year, and they're playing at home. So, but Kevin Crawford does a nice job with Eastern. I'm sure he has Shawnee scouted, as best as he can, and then they'll have a game plan together. But obviously, Group 4 is a minefield, and it's tough to navigate. And ultimately, like we said last week, the winner will have earned it. So, looking forward to see what happens in that group.
And Group 1, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about these guys a little bit. Glassboro really hasn't been tested yet in the playoffs, with some pretty easy wins over teams like Pittman and Paulsboro. Woodbury makes it there as a 3 seed. Glassboro pretty much the odds-on favorite in that game?
Well, coming off of last night, I don't know if I could throw Woodbury out of the equation completely. I think if you lean towards one, you'd probably lean with Glassboro. Playing at home, the top seed. They've had a great season, a couple of losses here and there towards the end, but they've obviously regrouped. And, you look at a Woodbury team, the defending sectional champion, a different team from last year, but still has a dynamite junior guard in Aaron Estrada. So I was very surprised to see Woodbury went into Pennsgrove last night and won. I thought Pennsgrove was going to be the team to come out of this group. I'd seen them play. I was extremely impressed with how they had played against a Group 4 team that night in Clearview, and I thought their guard play would really be the difference. But obviously, Woodbury has come to play. Mark DeRogeris, in his first year back at his alma mater, has his team playing in a championship game, and if Aaron Estrada can kind of put the herd on his back a little bit and carry them one more time, maybe Woodbury, defends its title. But to go on the road in Glassboro against a Glassboro team that obviously has been playing extremely well all season is going to be a challenge. And, just another opportunity for both teams to show what they have. And, it will be a very, very good, Group 1 final. Reminiscent of a football final with these two schools. You get into Group 1, you kind of get to save some of these some of these same schools year after year at Paulsboro, or Glassboro, Woodbury, they always seem to be there, and here they are in basketball. So, I look for a great game. Glassboro's Anthony Mitchell, he only needs 1 point to hit 1,000, so I'm sure he'll get that out of the way, pretty early. That really won't be an issue or anything to wear on his shoulders a little bit. And 32 minutes later, we'll see what happens.
Talk with Kevin Minnick of NJ Advanced Media. And Kevin, real quick before we let you go, non-public A, some pretty good semifinals. You got St. Joe Metuchen and Red Bank Catholic on one side, and then awesome game coming up on Monday, St. Augustine hosting Camden Catholic. That should be a real battle. I mean, Camden Catholic, we saw them play Atlantic City earlier this year, and a really good team. I think they're coming on at the right time.
Yeah, that's the thing with Camden Catholic. They have come on at just the right time. They're playing their best ball. They beat a Bishop R team the other night. They won the game by 42 points, and that's the biggest margin of victory all season. And I don't think anybody could have thought that they were going to win a playoff game by 42 points. Usually they won't even they'll score in the 40s. So it'll be St. Augustine's got a tough test against them. They slipped by Paul to 6. I don't know too much about the game, but when you look at the notes and you see that they win by a point, in the closing seconds, and it had to have been a tight game. And St. Augustine's had some ups and downs, and they're going to be, Camden Catholic's going to give them a game, and I think St. Augustine at home, it helps them out, but I give Camden Catholic every opportunity in the world to maybe go in there and knock off the Hermits because of the way they've been playing. Dominic Dunn from the outside. They've got two bigs inside that St. Augustine's going to have to contend with, and like you said, it's going to be a big one. And then on the other side, St. Joe Metuchen, Red Bank Catholic haven't followed those teams. Don't follow them because they're not really in our area for the regular season. But I think St. Joe is probably the team to beat on that side. I think Red Bank Catholic, they knocked off CBA for the first time in what I read in almost 30 years. So St. Joe's been playing pretty well. They've got 20 some wins, and I think St. Joe gets to the final. But that St. Augustine Camden Catholic game, that should be a pretty interesting battle, and I think it's going to come down like a lot of the other games, come right down to the end.
Great stuff as always, Kevin. We appreciate it. We'll catch up with you next week and see who's in these group finals.
All right, Sully. We'll take you enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll be talking more hoops.
Will do. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thanks again. Have a great one.
That was Kevin Minnick of NJ Advanced Media.